Lava Grivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallava Grivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Jaya Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Shri Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So reading from Śrīla Prabhupada's Your Ever Well-Wisher, Chapter 7, Uniting Two Worlds. two worlds, spiritual world and material world. Yeah. Let's see. Some devotees had tried placing ads in magazines and leaving books in bookstore on consignment, but the books didn't sell. How to sell these big hardbound books remained a mystery until something significant happened, an incident discovery. One day in 1971, while driving back to temple after chanting in downtown San Francisco, two brahmacharis stopped at a local service station for gas. When the attendant came to the window for money, one of the devotees sold him a Krishna book. The attendant seemed interested, and the two devotees began uh, preaching the glories of Krishna consciousness. When they suggested he take the book as a payment for the gas, he agreed. Astonished at what had happened and inspired by their success, the two brahmacharis went the next day with several Krishna books and stood in front of grocery store. And again it happened. This time they sold two books. So Keshava, the San Francisco temple president, phoned his GBC supervisor and brother Karnadhara in Los Angeles to tell him what had happened. It's like a miracle. Keshava examined. Karnadhara encounter uh, encouraged him to experience further, and soon the San Francisco temple had half a dozen men going from door to door, showing the books to people in their homes. When Buddhimanta began selling as many as 5 books in a day, the devotees in other temples, especially in Los Angeles, San Diego, and Denver, wanted to follow this example. And whoever tried it and sold a book became caught up in ecstatic excitement. So Prabhupada ki. So certainly it's an excitement to sell, distribute one book, isn't it? You know, I'm not a good book distributor, but still, whenever at least pass one book, I feel very happy. And I pray to Srila Prabhupada, yes, thank you. Yeah. So today we'll read from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we continue. Chapter 19, text 198. Krishnera Vishwa Rūpa Dekhi. Krishnera Vishwa Rūpa Dekhi. Arjuna Haila Bhaya. Arjunera Haila Bhaya. Shakhya Bhave Dhashtriya. Shakhya Bhave Dhashtriya. Samapya Karya Vinaya. Samapya Karya Vinaya. Krishnera Vishwarupa Dekhi Arjunera Haila Bhaya. Shakya bhavya drishtya ksamapaya karya vinaya. Krishnera Vishwarupa dekhi Arjunera haila bhaya. Shakya bhavya drishtya ksamapaya karya vinaya. Krishnera Vishwarupi dekhiye Arjunera haila bhaya. Shakya bhavya drishtya ksamapaya karya vinaya. Yes, I'll continue translation till 203 and then we'll discuss. Then we'll come back again to this verse. Or okay, okay. When translation for this verse, when Krishna manifested his universal form, Arjuna became relevant and fearful, and he begged forgiveness for his past impudence toward Krishna as a friend. Text 19 and 200. Thinking of you as my friend, I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed and sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses. 201. Although Krishna was joking with Queen Rukmani, she was thinking that he was going to give up her company and she was therefore shocked. Text 202. While Krishna was joking with Rukmani in Dwarika, she was full of distress, fear, and lamentation. She had also lost her intelligence. She dropped her hand bangles and the fan she was using to fan the Lord. Her hair became disarrayed, and she fainted and fell suddenly, appearing like a banana tree knocked down by high winds. Text 203. Hmm? I was thinking to do on 203. So we'll do 203 with sloga as well. Kevala Ra Shuddha Prema Kevala Ra Shuddha Prema Aishwarya Na जाने ऐश्वर्य ना जाने ऐश्वर्य देखिलो निज संबंध से माने ऐश्वर्य देखिलो निज संबंध से माने केवलार शुद्ध प्रेम ऐश्वर्य न जाने ऐश्वर्य देखिलो निज संबंध से माने केवलार शुद्ध प्रेम ऐश्वर्य न जाने ऐश्वर्य देखिलो निज संबंध से माने केवलार शुद्ध प्रेम ऐश्वर्य न जाने ऐश्वर्य देखिलो निज संबंध से माने केवलार शुद्ध प्रेम ऐश्वर्य न जाने Kevalara Shuddha Prema Aishwarya Sajane. Okay. We'll go word by word. Kevalara of unmixed attraction for Krishna. Shuddha Prema, unalloyed love. Aishwarya, opulence. Na jane, does not know. Aishwarya, opulence. Dekhailo, in spite of experiencing. Nija Sambandha, one's own relationship with Krishna. Se mane, he takes very seriously. Translation: in the stage of Kevala, unalloyed devotion, a devotee does not consider the unlimited opulences of Krishna. Even though he experiences it, he takes seriously only his own relationship with Krishna. Purport: by divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. When a devotee reaches the stage of pure, unalloyed devotion, especially in friendship with Krishna, he forgets the Lord's opulences. Although he sees them and he considers himself equal to Krishna, there is no question of actually comparing oneself to Krishna. But because the devotee is so advanced in Krishna consciousness, he is able to behave with Krishna as he would with an ordinary man. Please repeat translation. In the stage of Kevala, unalloyed devotion, a devotee does not consider the unlimited opulences of Krishna. Even though he experiences it, he takes seriously only his own relationship with Krishna. Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyate Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are discussing chapter 19. The Lord instructs Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī. This is very important chapter where we see Prabhupada says that there are so many instructions given to devotees in Chaitanya Charitamrita, like Sarvam Bhattacharya, then Ramananda Rai. The discussions are there. However, these two sections, chapter 19 till chapter 24 of Madhya Lila, are very, very important. Why? Because the instructions from Mahāprabhu, philosophical instructions to Mahāprabhu, was given to Sanatana Goswami and Rūpa Goswami in these chapters. So what happened in the very first meeting of Rūpa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Ramkeli, after that they went back to their own homes. However, when they met again, especially this chapter 19 in Prayaga, when Rūpa Goswami met Mahaprabhu, there for 10 days, for 10 continuous days, he given this knowledge to Rūpa Goswami, and And that has been summarized by in Charitamrita in this 19th chapter. Basically, we can say some 80 to 90 verses. However, this is a summary of those 10 days discussion. And Mahaprabhu says that I can't explain you everything. However, you expand it. And we see how Rupa Goswami expanded it to us. That's why this is a very, very important chapter for us. And Prabhupada says everyone should read these 2 chapters. I mean, 6 chapters, 19 till 24. And then Sanatana Goswami's teachings comes in the teachings by Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami that comes from text chapter 22, 20 to 24. And that is for 2 months. For 2 months, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was instructing to Sanatana Goswami every single day. And that is being condensedly provided to us by in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Can you imagine it? And the sense of this, what we are discussing about this Kevala Bhakti, another devotion. And here, I will try to understand as of now what Mahaprabhu has given instructions to Rupa Goswami, so that we have an importance of this as how Rupa Goswami took it within his heart and how Mahaprabhu actually given this knowledge. We'll try to understand those. And through that, how can we actually get an all devotion? That's the actual real essence of our devotional service. And in this section, we'll go through those. In this section, Mahaprabhu says about the rarity of human life and how can we use our rare human life for cultivating Krishna consciousness, for spreading Krishna consciousness, and for living Krishna consciousness. And it's well said that Krishna consciousness actually is preparing for our next life. And next life not in material world, but in our spiritual world, going back to Godhead, isn't it? So I'll try to summarize those things from very beginning till here. So Mahaprabhu, he's explaining to Rupa Goswami here about some great topics, and he summarizes 4 topics first. He says, first of all, he speaks about 4 tattvas. He says there are 4 tattvas I will be explaining you, and I won't explain it all elaborately, but you can actually expand those. What are those 4 tattvas? He says about Krishna tattva, Bhakti tattva, Rasa tattva, Pranta. Krishna tattva, Bhakti tattva, Rasa tattva, and also he says I will be teaching you about the essential principle of Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are 4 things he actually explained in this 10 days to Rupa Goswami. And the reason being, interestingly, that we can come here and understand who Krishna is. Right? So after Krishna has went, by finishing his pastime, he went to his own abode or maybe to someone else to do the more pastimes. The Vrindavan was actually is loved. And especially the place was there, but the pastimes of Krishna were no more being glorified, no more being talked around. And Mahaprabhu, intentionally, he wanted to revive this Vrindavan, especially the pastimes of Krishna's childhood Leela, this more beautiful Leela, so that actually we can release those. See, everyone is looking for happiness, and how a devotee get happiness? It's actually higher than that, is pleasure. How it get? By discussing Krishna Katha, isn't it? So that's why Mahaprabhu wanted to revive that Vrindavan, and for revealing that Vrindavan, he imparted this knowledge to Rupa Goswami. And we see how, after understanding the instructions from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami has written a vast scriptures for us. NOD, NOI, there are so many natakas, dramas, and stavavalis, many things. So this 10 days teaching, how could and we might sometimes think that, okay, can I write a book? Can I become an author? And we'll see it how Rūpa Gosvāmī has become an author. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he himself entered in the heart of Rūpa Gosvāmī, and it's like, like Dhruva Maharaj. When Dhruva Maharaj, he did the penances and Lord came, he was just 5 years old child. No, he can't glorify anything. Then what happened? Vishnu touched him with the conch, and as soon as he touched, he got all the enlightenment. Everything is within him now. And then after that, he started praying, glorifying Krishna with so many verses and slokas. In the similar way here, and here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has imparted this knowledge to Rūpa Gosvāmī, going within himself. Anyway, we know very well Krishna is there within our heart as Paramatma. However, Mahaprabhu has given this special benediction to Rūpa Gosvāmī, Sanatana Gosvāmī, so that they can explain this literature for we Kali Yuga people. Right? And then Mahaprabhu says about the after, he says, I will be explaining about these 4 tattvas. What are those? Krishna tattva, Bhakti tattva, Rasa tattva, and the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then how he did it? He entered in the heart of Rūpa Gosvāmī and explained this literature to him. If you see in previous chapters, I think it's chapter 8, in Madhya itself, the discussion happened with Ramananda Rai. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks question to Ramananda Rai, what he says actually, you know everything well, you ask question, and through me, you get the answer, and then you get the pleasure, and then again you ask another question. So it's only you communicating with yourself. For we devotees, isn't it? So, and then we see the same thing. Krishna is giving this knowledge to Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita, for whom? It's for us. So that how the Kali Yuga people, they can actually take the path of Krishna consciousness. Even I was hearing a lecture, I think it's the one devotee was saying that Krishna could have said in a very first chapter or second chapter itself, the essence of all the verses, Sarva Dharam Paritaja, Mamekam Pranam Braja. He could have said to Arjuna, oh Arjuna, forget everything, take my shelter, on the very second chapter. But he explained everything. What is Karma Yoga, what is Jnana Yoga, what is Dhyana Yoga, and then essentially says, abandon everything and take shelter unto me. Isn't it? So, the point is, then after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enlightened Rūpa Gosvāmī has become perfectly enlightened with all the knowledge of these tattvas. There are so many tattvas. Krishna tattva, Bhakti tattva, Shiva tattva, Jiva tattva, Brahma tattva, right? Nama tattva, Radha tattva. These are very confidential topics. However, everything is got enlightened by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Rūpa Gosvāmī. You might think, like, how can I write book? Or even Prabhupada says that if we have temple, that's all good, because in the temple, the neophyte devotee, they can come and they can get blessings. Even in the priest, they can worship the Lord and they can get benefited. However, he recommended that if you are capable of, we must write books, so that what happens is, due to time, place, and circumstances, the way of thinking gets changed, and hence we need to write the books again. That's why Prabhupada has written the books to us. He translated those books given by our acharyas and given to us in a present day, so that we can release those books, right? And then Mahaprabhu says that there are 5 rati and then 5 rasas. The same, Santa, Dasya, Shakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Rati means what? Rati is basically the Bhagavatam verse comes, Now patyate yadi ratim shrama evahi kevalam. So rati is attachment. So if we are engaged in our varnashram dharma or whatever activities you say, and if we cannot get attachment towards Krishna, then all our activities are called as useless. Srama eva hi kevala. It's just like Rūpa gives example of the ash. So he takes so much burden and goes from here and there on by the instruction of his master, for what? To get some grass. He thinks that if I carry all the burden, then only my master will give me a grass, so that I will become full. I'll have something in my stomach. But he doesn't know that grass is available freely. He thinks that I need to go work for my master and then only I will get the grass, isn't it? So essentially, the point is, he talks about rati, 5 rati, santarashya, shanta, dasya, shakya, vatshalyan, madhurya. So we'll try to touch those a bit here and there. And says, so that verse comes, Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Rasa Tattva Pranta, Shava Shikhaila Prabhu, Bhagavata Siddhanta. So Bhagavad Siddhanta, again the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is being taught to Rūpa Gosvāmī. And Mahāprabhu, how he did? He says, Shri Rūpa Hridaya Prabhu Sakti Sancharila, Sarva Tattva Nirupane Pravina Karila. So Mahāprabhu has, by entering to the heart of Rūpa Gosvāmī, he enlightened him and he made him pravina. Pravina means he made him perfect in the knowledge, all the knowledge. He's completely perfect now. And then he says, you can now elaborate this as per your understanding. And then we see so many literatures came up to us from Rūpa Gosvāmī. And Prabhupada says in I think in Nectar of Instruction, he says the Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the guidance of Rūpa Gosvāmī. So just imagine this 10 days of instruction to Rūpa Gosvāmī by Mahāprabhu has the foundation for Krishna consciousness. That 10 days is actually the essence for all of us. And Prabhupada has taken this seriously, and then he spread this Krishna consciousness to whole world, right? And then we know very well that it says, how can someone spread Krishna consciousness? That verse comes, Krishna Sakti Vina Nahe Tara Pravartana. So one cannot spread the holy name of Krishna without the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Rūpa Gosvāmī says that how it's possible, how can we do that? And he says, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. He says that the Bhakti Lata actually is the creeper given to the devotee by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Guru is a very, very heavy word, isn't it? It's very heavy. So Guru is what? Guru actually is coming, he's empowered by Krishna. He's empowered by Nityananda Prabhu. He's empowered by Srimati Radharani. Why? To pick up from this material world and place her under the shelter of Lord Hari. Right? That's the duty of our Guru. He enlightens us. Chakshudan Dilodai, Janma Janu Prabhu say. He gives the knowledge. He takes away all the ignorance which you have from this Maya is coming. His covering is there, and that covering is being removed by the spiritual master. Right? And so then he start explaining about the rarity of human being. He says that in this whole universe, there are so many living entities. Right? Not just any human being, but there are aquatics, but there are birds, beasts. Not only in this world, not only in this Europe or Asia or continent, actually the whole planet system. And he's talking about unlimited universes. And then he says, you know what? From them, many of the people are atheists. So just imagine it's whole pyramid. We'll go to the pyramid. So whole base is, there are so many people, and even except human being, there are so many like birds, beasts, and chara. So he describes there are two kinds of people, living entity. One is moving and one is non-moving. So it means that Prabhupada says it means that the non-moving, the trees, the mountain, they are actually, they have jiva as well, and they transforms to a higher and higher later on. But at one point of time, they are not moving, they are still out there. So half of them is cut now, and still there are living entity. And from those living entity, he says there are some part is human being. And from the human being, it's so rare that, like, if you say 1,000 pound, then 700 pound are actually atheist. I mean, 70% is are atheist. 30% have some devotions, or maybe some maybe towards some, they are fulfilling their desire or whatever it is. It's not pure bhakti, but anyway, they follow something towards scriptures. They believe on God at least. And then he says from those 30%, maximum are impersonalist. Everything is actually is impersonal Brahman. And Krishna is Nirakara. He doesn't have any pastimes or nothing like that. And what happens? When I die, I'll merge there. Can you imagine, we have a lot of platform earlier on the base of the pyramid, and it's gone to shrink to now this, right? Half is are non-moving, and those who are moving, and in between that, many maximum are atheist. And those who are practicing something, from them, it cut down to impersonalist, and then some remain, and from that some, it becomes some are sakama, some kama is kama. Still people have desire. So I am worshipping Lord for fulfilling of my own desire. As Prabhupada says, it's kind of business to God, right? Okay, Krishna, give me something, I'll give you some donation, right? That's business. And then he says, so that's it's come down again, getting more narrower. And then some is niskama. Even he says from in niskama, some are still stuck and they can't achieve the highest perfection. And then he goes more higher and higher and higher. He says, Muktana Siddhanam Narayana Parayana Sudurlabha Prasanatma Kotishu Api Mahamuni. So from crores and crores of people, barely one can actually become Krishna Bhakta. And that we see from our Bhagavad Gita as well. What says, Bahunam Janmanamante Gyanaman Mam Prapadati Vasudevam Saramiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlava. Sa Mahatma Sudurlava. So Bahunam Janmanamante means we are taking so many birth here and there into many spaces, maybe sometimes in a higher planet system, sometimes a lower. And by kripa of the devotees, we take the path of Krishna consciousness. And even Krishna says one more verse as well, Manushyanam sashesu kaschidati siddhaye etatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvata. So from the siddhas, so the pyramid is going more shrinking towards all. Like, when you walk in a hill, what happens? There's so broad on the ground, but when it goes top, it's tip. And people, today's people, they post in Facebook, okay, I'm on the highest tip of this place, right? So, but that's material thing. How can we elevate ourselves from the ground towards this? And I think some days back we are discussing where we say that we see Chaitanya Mahāprabhu in his deity like this form, right? One hand towards the ground and one hand towards the up. He's actually lifting from the ground and taking us to the highest place. That's the shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Hari, right? So then he says that Rūpa Gosvāmī, he says about how does it happen that there are very few people only who becomes perfect, right? And then Mahāprabhu explains this verse saying, Brahmana Bharmita Kono Bhagavana Jeev. So the kripa, how it happens is that actually we need to do some endeavor as well. without our underwear. Krishna is waiting. Krishna is waiting there, and we need to provide our underwear. We need to show that actually we are actually trying to know you. We are trying to please you. We are trying to revive our relationship with you, right? And then Mahaprabhu explains that how it can be nourished. The bhakti lata is there in our heart, but the nourishment will happen through hearing and chanting. Hearing and chanting is the essence of everything. Prabhupada says 99% of our devotional service depend upon our hearing and chanting. Chanting inattentively is it makes our kind of, it gives our, we have given a application or visa applications to go to spiritual world, and that visa application is actually is in process, and it takes about how we are performing our sadhana. How are we chanting our holy name? Are we attentively chanting? Are we taking shelter of the bona fide spiritual master? Are we taking instructions from our acharyas and abiding those? And that makes our application more clearer towards going to spiritual world, right? And I think in one of the lecture I heard that we might spend many lifetimes chanting the holy name, though holy name has an effect. Still, if you don't chant it attentively, if you don't chant it affectionately, if you don't chant it like thinking this is a person I'm talking to, we still will be chanting and chanting and chanting. And that's how many times we hear and we realize that I'm chanting for many years now, definitely for lives as well. That's why we are here, and many years now, but I haven't got any taste yet. And Adosha Prabhu always say these things. If we don't have taste, then we start degrading as well. So we always need to think about how can I elevate my consciousness so that actually we can get the prema. See, the point is we are trying to achieve the highest thing. What it is, Golokira Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana. It's not that easy, right? It seems to be. It seems many people from outside, it might seem that okay, yeah, we just need to sit and chant, but sitting and chanting for 2 hours continues for 16 rounds, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. And in this world, like, you have smart watches where it says about a notification. You may keep your phone away, but smart say, grrr, oh, what happened? Okay, I've been call a message on something else. So smart actually making us more down towards in this. And my Guru Maharaj used to say that if you have a smartphone, and how can we be a smart? If you use your phone smartly by installing apps which we can read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and things, right? It's very easy. Like, we carry phones and we check WhatsApp and Facebook many times a day. And one, I think I'm forgetting, but one devotee was saying that as many times we open WhatsApp and Facebook, if we could open Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita at that many time in our phone, the consciousness can be changed completely, right? Anyway, so, and then Mahaprabhu says about that the process is Shravanam and Kirtanam, and that the reason, if we don't have proper Shravanam Kirtanam, we do not get taste. And it's a bhakti lata, it's a creeper, right? So what happens is when we do some plantation, there are so many here and there, creepers also come out. As we pour water, the water is being soaked by some other creepers, unwanted creepers as well, and that needs to be cut down. That needs to be cut down. Otherwise, the process will work, but it will very go slowly. And that's how you see some devotees, they take the position very quickly, and some are still struggling. And I'm still struggling for 10 years now, but I haven't got any test yet. Right? So, and then he explains about the 5 rasas. And 5 rasas we know very well. However, it's a Santarasya, Dasyarakya, Shatyarakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. And then he explains about 7 secondary rasas. Then Then he explains about after these rasas. Rupa Goswami says that, is it, I mean, the question was asked by Rupa Goswami, that is it like every devotee has the same rasa with the Krishna? Then he explains about his five rati and five rasas. Five rati is attachment with Krishna with those five rati, and then definitely we get those rasas. So Shanta, Shanta is what? Shanta rati or Shanta rasa. Rasa is mellows. What it is here Prabhupada mentions that there are two qualities of the Shanta rasa as well. And Mahaprabhu gives example of all this one by one. Hence, in stage of Shanta rasi, the quality is they are devoid of material sense gratification or material desires, and at the same time they have attachment to Lord. It's Shanta, and Mahaprabhu give example of Nava Yogendra and Chatuskumara. So what it means is Nava Yogendra Chatuskumara, they had attachment toward Krishna, but they are more focused on meditation. There is not much service attitude in Santarasha. And then when it comes to Dasya, it becomes, so when we go to next rasa, or the base one is Santa, and then on top of it becomes Dasya. And when we go to Dasya, the qualities which we had in Santa rasa also carries to the next level. It doesn't mean that, okay, I'm in Dasya, so I do not have any more attachment to Lord. No. When it comes to Dasya, it's actually the quality of Shanta, basically is, what are those? Devoid of material desire or sense gratification and attachment to Lord. It becomes more condensed in Dasya. And added to service attitude. We see Lord Hanuman, isn't it? So he is servant. And we all are servant. So the condensed form of devoid from material desire and attachment to Lord, it becomes more condensed. And also another thing added, what it is? Service attitude. And then he again goes to more third level, that is Shakya. So in Sakya, so in Dasya, there is all reverence. So if you imagine, can we imagine like Lord Hanuman making a joke with Lord Rama? It never. Can you imagine that Lord Hanuman, sitting beside Lord Ram? It never. Can you imagine he's putting his arm on his head and he's walking? It can't. It's not possible, isn't it? That's all reverence attitude in the service mode. But when it comes to Sakya, so these three are there, and it becomes more intimacy. And here the Maya potency of Krishna works. So the all reverences are actually being demonized in Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. So they know everything. Yeah, if you see in Vrindavan, the Gopas, they are actually playing with Krishna. They know, even sometimes people say, okay, they are Supreme Lord. That's okay, don't worry, no problem. But they are our friend. That's more important to us, isn't it? So they have this intimacy toward Krishna. And the important thing is that Krishna has been controlled by devotees in Dasya, in Sakhyarati. In that mellow, Krishna is being controlled. And then it's more goes higher in parental love. Mahaprabhu explained in parental level that the parent, they think that I am the maintainer of Krishna. So in Santarasi, it's kind of here and there, but in Dasya, Krishna is higher, the servant is the lower. In Sakya, both are on the same platform. And that we read the verse where Arjuna is saying, "Oh Krishna, oh Madhava, oh Saketi, I've been playing with you. I've been, and I was using the same things. I know I've done so many things to you unknowingly. Please forgive me." That's Sakya. And then it goes to parental. Parental, Krishna is down and the parents are up now. They think that, okay, if I don't feed, my Krishna will be hungry. If I don't sing Lori, my Krishna won't sleep, right? So, but that's not the case. But what happened? The Maya potency is actually hiding the all reverences in that case, and they think that actually I am the one who takes care of my Krishna. And then this more goes higher is conjugal love, who is the highest, and in the conjugal love is the intensified love for Krishna. And we know in conjugal love, the essence or the highest, topmost one is our Srimati Radharani, right? Uh, and Mahaprabhu explains one more important thing is that, however, is there any blocker in the path of this process of getting devotional service toward Krishna, getting the highest prema? The point he says is nama aparadha. No, sorry, it's Vaishnava aparadha. So we need to be very much cautious about the aparadhas, 10 aparadhas. So Vaishnava aparadha is one, it becomes independent impediment for our progress in spiritual life, right? And then I'll just take one more 5 minutes maybe before we conclude today. As we are discussing about the rarity of human life, isn't it? That how Mahaprabhu takes us that from the mountain is broad at the bottom, and on the top it's a tip. In a similar way, the devotees are actually on the highest platform. And we need to understand the rarity of this human life. There's a verse comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, Naradeham Adyam Sulabham Sudurlabham. So from all the birds, trees, mountains, the beast, aquatics, we get the human form without any endeavor. Naradeham Sulabham. It's actually get it like a child, a baby, toddler. They don't have to worry about anything. The parents provide everything to them, isn't it? The cloth, the food, and everything what they need. It's all good for them, without any problem, without any going to office or working. They get everything. In the similar way, human being, we get the human life without any endeavor. It's by the law of process of karma and everything we get it. And once we get it, if we do not attach our activities towards Krishna consciousness, actually we are killing our own self. So we know very well, I'm not his body, I'm the soul, and we also know very well that the soul cannot be killed. But why it says we are killing our own self is because we are degrading ourselves from the platform we have got towards something below again, right? So the human being life is there. The human being is why it's rare is because from human being only we can actually go back to our spiritual world, and we can cut down the knot of cycle of birth and death. And the essential, very, very important, Prabhupada says always that chanting is the essence of everything. So if we can chant properly, if we can take the holy name very seriously, associate with the devotees, read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, we are in Dham anyway. So everything is all favorable. And we just need to take care of Vaishnava Aparadha and trying to avoid unfavorable things toward Krishna consciousness, and it's become simple. So is there any quick questions, comments, or suggestions?
Hare Krishna. Thank you for class. You were mentioning that we're climbing up a mountain, and there's a book by Sri Ramanuj called Sankalpa Kaumudi, and it's to figure out, are you still climbing the mountain? Because some people have stopped and some are going down the mountain. So how do you know that you're still climbing up the mountain?
Yeah, that's a nice question. Yes, so climbing the mountain, we can still see some people are coming down, isn't it? Right. So the point is, it depends upon how are we taking seriously our own sadhana. Our sadhana, our spiritual practices will define us. Are we going up or down? And if you see, if we take the philosophy of spiritual life, spiritual practices, we know very well that whatever the sadhana we do, that's another bank balance that never goes down. It remains over there. So if I am not perfect in my sadhana yet, and still I'm continuing, if I take my next life, we know very well that my material bank balance will go zero, but the spiritual bank balance will remain there. And whenever I start, I'll start from there. So it might be a material example of going top of mountain and coming down, people we see coming down, but practically I think the whatever sadhana we have done, it will remain there unless and until we engage ourselves in committing offenses towards Vaishnava. So Vaishnava parad is the one of the impediments which pulls us down. So that we need to be very careful of. Is that make sense, Prabhu? So Vaishnava parad is very important point where we can see and one more thing I could think of it. Even if you see someone coming down, if I relate this in our spiritual life, we might think, okay, that devotee was actually he was doing chanting Mahamantra, doing a nice kirtan, but nowadays he's not coming to temple anymore, right? So we might think, okay, now he has got degraded, or he is coming down from the mountain, but we are not supposed to think about them. We always need to think good about them. We can think, am I going down or not? So that's how, if we start talking about them, okay, he's going down, then eventually we'll pull ourselves down as well. There is a Prabhupada also, I think, gives an example of scorpion. So the scorpion, when they are exported, in the tin they have been put the scorpion, and the scorpion, the tin lid is there, no lid. It's all open air. You know why? People will say, okay, scorpion may climb and then fall. But what happens is, as the scorpion climbs, the one who is on the bottom, he starts pulling him back. So still on the can. So no one is going out actually. So if we start doing Vaishnava Prada, then we are actually pulling our own self towards down. So that we need to be taking care of. And at the same time, we should try to take them back with us. Who's going down? No, don't go down. Let's come. Let's go to the top, isn't it? Hare Krishna. Anything, Babu? Okay. Grantaraj Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Baleshwar Ramana Prabhu ki.
Vaishnava Vrinda ki.